Tell us something motivated. Hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is 5 years too long? Where do you see yourself tomorrow? No.
Tomorrow? Here! I'm going to be here tomorrow!
You know, just to let you know, on the Da Vinci Dr. T, there will be a video at the end of this podcast that kind of shows us what we went through on our field trip. It's kind of hard to kind of listen to, but on Spotify, you actually can watch the video. Hogan, right, was a rep that was there as a Da Vinci rep. He went over all this information with the students between what the Da Vinci is, some background, some history, where it came from, where it's going in the future. Just kind of a basic kind of demonstration. There will be a video at the end. It's a little hard to hear, so we do apologize, but we're still going to put it on the end of the podcast.
Brad, I was kind of curious because you being the surg tech, actually, how is a surg tech involved with the Da Vinci? I mean, besides draping, can you give them a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, so obviously, traditionally, most Da Vinci teams look for someone that's specialized in it. And I'll give you an example. A first assist and maybe a back table would be a surgical technologist. And there's a difference of those two. The first assist typically puts the instruments within the ports that go into the body cavity. In the past, they really wanted, and still they want people with experience, but they kind of lean towards people with like a first assist degree. I think the trend is most hospitals are trying to get everyone trained in the Da Vinci. Why is that? I think it helps the doctors out. It's kind of leaning towards, it's a more of a minimum invasive surgery most doctors are trained in, but they want to have the ability to have it on call, which means if they have a call team come in and they're not trained in the Da Vinci, obviously that's an option that doctor can't use. So it's in their interest to have everyone have a training within that Da Vinci system. So when they go on call, they get a call in the middle of the night, they can still use that minimum invasive technology. Now it's just an upper level of laparoscopic. Maybe do some research on that, but the Da Vinci has a lot more articulations with the instrumentation, so a lot more doctors are becoming more trained on that.
What I was wondering about is he showed us some really high-tech cartridges that fit into the arms of the Da Vinci. The machine itself, he said, was over $2 million. And then he had talked about the cartridges again that basically were slid into the arms of the machine to be used. As a surg tech, when you take those cartridges, do you set those up on your back table or do you put them in, or how does that work?
So they're called manipulators. They're different arms. They're just an extension of certain instruments you use in surgery, like, a bipolar forceps, Alice clamps. So those are manipulators. So mainly the person that's up at the field, when I say up at the field, at the patient itself, we'll put those into those arms. There's 4 arms on them, those 4 ports. So and if you know a laparoscopic, it really is just an extension of that with the arms, right? You have the different ports. You have 5 millimeter ports. You have 12 millimeter ports. It varies on what you're doing surgery-wise. So when they come out, they will go on the back table. And that tech in the back usually is organized in the back, right? Maybe they're anticipating going open. They're really just making it easy for that person that's up at the field. You're handing them sutures, you're handing them those instruments so they can just focus by looking on the monitor, because you put those arms into those ports, you just can't stab it into the belly. You have to observe it under observation on the camera, and that takes some time. So that tech on the back is really just keeping that first assist organized. When stuff comes out, you'll hand it to him. If he needs another instrument, you'll hand it to him. And that's usually how it goes. So.
What about the training on the Da Vinci? Remember he had said that there's some surgeons that basically have not been trained, and it takes about a 2-day or 3-day period of training again for them starting to get to use it? And
I'm not an expert on what the doctor goes through, but I know doctors are coming out of their training with Da Vinci training. So a lot of the newer doctors are having training within the Da Vinci. So how long does it take? I think just like anything, even laparoscopic, when it came out back in the day, it's how many surgeries that doctor did, and over time they get better. Obviously there's a requirement for them to become certified, but as surgeons obviously they do surgeries, they get better and better and better. So even as a patient, if I was choosing someone that was doing the Da Vinci, I would say, hey, well, how many have you done? That's just me. I've done 3, You might, it's up to you as a patient. I would say, well, maybe I'll choose someone that has done 500. And that's just, they get better as they progressively do more and more cases. And that's just for any surgery. For the tech purposes of training, there are modules on Intuitive. And obviously we try to find links, or we'll give you links to Intuitive. You make an account on Intuitive. And there's certain modules that you can take that gives you basic knowledge of what the terminology is. There's something called a boom, the arms, stowaway, chokes, and all these terms are what they're going to use within the Da Vinci, so you can manipulate those arms around, the manipulators, put the instruments in. They want you to have a basic understanding, so if they turn to you and say these terms, you're not too confused. And obviously over time you just get better as you do more and more.
Excellent. There was a hospital we went to, there were already 2 Da Vinci models, 2 Da Vinci rooms in the OR. So do you see it, like you said, I know you asked one of the students, Cameron, do you see it progressing to almost where the hospital itself will have?
Yeah, when I first started, and obviously Chris, you can talk a little bit about that too, is that it was the SI, and then it progressed to the XI, and this is just an advancements in just how the instrument works. Draping technology is a lot better. It is progressively. It started with the prostate surgery and hysterectomies, probably the top 2 Da Vinci things: general surgery, colon surgery, thoracic surgery they're doing now, mitral valve. So I think it's progressively getting used in a lot more other specialty areas. But just like any specialty, orthopedics has their robotic system. It's called the Mako system. General surgery, GYN, have the Da Vinci. So yes, robotics. So if you're out there as students, you're going to use robotic surgery. It will. So it is the future.
Great. Well, it was interesting, Brad. It's interesting always to talk with you. Your new ideas and all our field trips and filming these as educational pieces. Our next piece is going to be on a surgical vest that we're going to be bringing to our PAC meeting at our school. Going to have a demo of a surgical vest that's coming up in 2 weeks, and we'll keep you informed again with these podcasts. I'm sure Mr. Durand will keep you informed in the future of all these different things we're doing with our school at Southern Technical College.
Yeah, we look forward to you seeing next time this podcast. Obviously, we're going to go over a lot of information. Dr. T has that vest guy coming out. So we try to give you some information. Obviously, this little small snippet of the Da Vinci system. Hey, if you have questions out there in podcast land, throw them in that messenger area and try to share this the best you can. And then we're going to have Chrissy, one of our other instructors. She has a lot of knowledge in the Da Vinci, and we're going to go to her as soon as she comes out of class.